Hey everybody, I'm here at 304 East 8th Street in Kensington in Brooklyn. This is a 20-foot wide limestone townhouse, barrel front. You can see it right behind me on a 120-foot lot. That's a huge lot for Brooklyn. It's a really special house. It's a two-family house, and my clients are going to be using it as a single family, so they're going to do some work on it. They are actually on vacation, and they're closing on this house tomorrow, so I'm doing a final walkthrough for them, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to give you guys a quick tour. So let's get at it. As you can see, we're on a beautiful block in Kensington, tree-lined block, East 8th Street. This is a neighborhood that's just east of Windsor Terrace, a little bit east of Prospect Park and Park Slope. This is the house right here. This is an estate sale, and it's been really well kept. There's some debris here in front because this is the final walkthrough, and the owners were doing some last minute work to get it ready for closing, but all that will be removed. Like all these houses, you'll see that it has a door under the stoop, and in this case, this leads to the basement. It's an unfinished basement, but look at this detail. The parapets are gorgeous. This is not a landmarked block, but still, maintaining a house like this does take work. And it can be expensive. You have to stay on top of it. You can see, if you look right here, actually, they probably developed some cracking right there at some point, and they filled that in. You really want to do that every year, repointing, to make sure that water doesn't get in through the cracks and expand and start ruining your facade, because once that gets out of control, it can get really expensive. But let's go inside and do a little tour. Like a lot of these old homes, it has an interior vestibule. So you have a little bit of separation between the outside world and the inside world. You get your food delivered, and they're not all up in your business. But look at this detail. I mean, this is just gorgeous. Very well kept. It could use a little bit of TLC, but all this stuff is very easy to touch up. So let's do this floor first. We have a long hallway leading into the kitchen and bathroom area. These walls separate the living space. 3 big windows in the barrel front. Look at this detail. Wow. This house was probably built in the late 1800s, and for a house of this age, the floors are in great shape. And you can really feel the 20-foot wide measurement here because there is so much space here. And what a lot of people will do, if they decide to use this as a single family, which is what my clients are planning to do, a lot of people will just knock out this wall. You've seen this on some other houses that I've sold. Knock out this wall, knock out this wall, and open all that up. So then you have this big, grand living space when you walk in. Not necessary, but a lot of people will do that. So it's a toss-up which room you would use for an actual living room. I mean, I think back in the day, you had a living room, you had a parlor, you had rooms for all different types of social occasions. And there's so much flexibility here. The garden's amazing. We'll get out there in a minute. But look how spacious this is. And again, look at these floors. Oh, it's just gorgeous. So there's that hallway where we came in, and you come into this galley kitchen. Now, another renovation a lot of people will do is blow out this wall, open the kitchen up, make a much bigger kitchen, put in maybe, if you come over here, maybe a breakfast bar, extra counter space, and make this into like a kitchen dining area. That's a pretty popular renovation because this kitchen is definitely old. I mean, it's not in terrible shape, but these counters are old. My clients are going to rip all this out at some point. Coming out here, we have a little bit of a, I guess you would call it a sunroom. This room could use some work. And there's some deferred maintenance here. Not a big deal. Wrought iron gate. We are going to go outside, but I'm going to finish up this level first. Huge pantry. And cool thing about these old houses, they usually have these big, deep tubs. I mean, that's a really deep tub. Obviously, this bathroom could use a little TLC, but it's fine. It works. And one of the cool things about this house is that you can do some little projects and move right in. You don't have to do a major renovation right away. You can see how you use the space and then come up with a plan, save some money. Let's go upstairs. This house has a skylight. That's awesome. It could definitely use some cleaning. Look at that. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty, but it's nice to have some natural light in the stairwell. And you do have to be careful here because skylights are usually the first thing to leak. When your roof starts deteriorating, people get leaks in the skylights, and you got to watch for that. So this is the second floor. Like I said, it's a 2-family house. They actually have no separation between the two units, which is a little bit unusual, but I believe that the two families who lived here knew each other or related, so they didn't really care. But if you were renting out this top floor, you'd probably create some kind of a barrier between your living space and theirs. Or maybe they just use those doors there. These houses often have this little room in the front. This is above where the vestibule would be downstairs. So this is space that this apartment has that the other one doesn't. It could be a nursery or a nice office. Or you open this all up and have a much bigger living space. Nice, big, wide living space. Lots of flexibility for how you could use it. These floors are not as beautiful as the ones downstairs, but they're also very nice. I love the narrow plank. Someone has refinished these recently, probably just before they listed it for sale. Gorgeous. And this layout over here is pretty much the same as the one downstairs. You have a bathroom over here. Nice big deep tub and toilet. Yeah, this kitchen is even older than the one downstairs. They put a new fixture on because we demanded it in the home inspection. But otherwise, it's very old. I think my grandmother had this countertop. It's actually pretty cool. It's all going to get ripped out. Now in here, there is a hatch to the roof. I'm definitely not climbing up this, but when we were here for the inspection, the inspector climbed up this rickety ladder and onto the roof. Totally doable, but I'm not doing it today. You guys just have to use your imagination. So something to note about this house. Did you notice? No air conditioning. And here we are at the end of June, and it is hot in here. So one of the first things my clients are going to do is install the mini splits that we've seen in other houses. It'll probably need 4 or 5 of those up here and 4 or 5 downstairs. And so you can either put the condensers for those on the roof or in the backyard. With a 120-foot long backyard, I think that's probably the place to do it, but some people put them on the roof. So to that point, let's go down into the basement and see what's going on. Huge basement. I mean, it's unfinished, but you could do a lot with this space. Okay, so first thing to notice here is that's an old box that's not even really active, thankfully. First thing to notice here is 100 amp service. This is not enough to run air conditioning to the entire house, to install the mini splits and all the normal electronic things that humans use these days. So one of the first things they're going to do once they close is have the electrician increase the electric service to this house so that it can handle the drain of those mini split air conditioners. And they're going to want to do that fast because it's going to be a hot summer. It's already hot. They're talking about it being in the hundreds next week. Okay, so another thing to notice is these big oil tanks. A lot of houses in Brooklyn still have oil tanks, although it is becoming increasingly rare. Most people end up switching them out, but when you switch them out, you have to do it right, and you have to get a certification that you did it right so that you can show the next owner that you didn't create an environmental hazard or a health hazard. I've seen it done. It's kind of crazy. They actually come in, they drain them, of course, and then they cut them up to bring them out, because otherwise, how are they going to fit out the door? This house has oil, but it also has gas service. Right now, the gas is turned off because it's an estate sale. No one's been living here, and they let the electric company remove the gas meters. So it's been a whole battle to get those back. Hopefully it'll happen soon. So this house uses the gas for cooking and the oil for heat. So I don't know what the plan is, but I think at some point they'll probably try to consolidate that. There's really no reason to have all this. Maybe they leave it because the oil heat's already in place and it's efficient and easy. We'll see what they decide to do. This is a Peerless boiler, which is a great brand. These things will last a long time if you keep them together. This one's been kind of Frankensteined quite a bit. All kinds of different parts added, but you know, it's been maintained. And like I said, these things can last a really long time if you take care of them. At some point, they stop being so efficient and you just replace them. This house has we can't get this door open, so we don't know what's back there. And who knows, maybe there'll be a surprise. Maybe a skeleton, maybe some money. It remains to be seen. This is cool. There's a little hatch to the backyard right here. I'm not going to open it. We're going to go out from the upstairs. But if this were my house, I might think about finishing this area of the basement, especially because these guys have little kids. It'll be nice to have a big rec room. You finish this area of the basement. This boiler really should have cinder blocks around it for fireproofing. So you do that and then make a proper door to the outside so people can come in and out the backyard from here. Let's go see the backyard. Now this house, like I said, is 120 feet deep. We see a lot of 100-foot lots. We see a lot of 80-foot lots. Not as many 120-foot lots. This is huge. When we last saw this house, there was hardly any vegetation. This is all grown up in the last month. We made this deal nearly 2 months ago. Because remember, in New York City, it can take a couple months to close a real estate deal. But this is really pretty. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of fun back here. South is roughly that way. So this yard gets a lot of sun. And you can see the neighbors some of them are growing. I don't know what they're growing. It looks like lettuce, herbs. They're growing tomatoes on the other side. Yeah, this is great. And there's that hatch to the basement that I was talking about. So there you are. That pretty much completes the tour. I will see you guys out. So that's it. There's your tour of 304 East 8th Street in Kensington, Brooklyn. It's such a special property. I'm really excited for my clients. If you like content like this, real videos of real homes in Brooklyn, without all the crazy dance music and without all the special effects, please subscribe and follow me. I'm going to be doing these going forward for every property that I can, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys out there.